The carriage rolled to a stop in front of Thornfield Manor. Dust rose from the wheels. The horses snorted. A woman stepped down onto the gravel path. She wore a black traveling dress. Her gloved hands smoothed the fabric. Her face was pale. Her eyes were dark like storm clouds. She looked up at the house. The stone walls rose 3 stories high. Windows stared down at her like cold eyes. A butler appeared at the door. He was old. His back was bent. His eyes widened when he saw her face. Miss Clara?" His voice cracked. The woman shook her head slowly. "No, I am Celestine." The butler's hand gripped the doorframe. His knuckles turned white. "But you look exactly—" "I am Clara's twin sister." Celestine's voice was steady, firm. "I have come for my niece." The butler's mouth opened. No sound came out. He staggered backward. His face had gone grey. Celestine picked up her small travelling case. She walked forward. Her boots crunched on the gravel. "Please inform Lord Thornfield that I am here." Inside the house, everything was dark. Heavy curtains blocked the windows. The air smelled of old wood and dust. Portraits lined the walls. Celestine's eyes moved across them. She stopped at one painting. A woman in a blue dress, dark hair, dark eyes, a gentle smile. Clara. Celestine's jaw tightened. Her sister had been dead for 10 years. 10 years since she died bringing a child into the world. 10 years since Celestine had received the letter telling her the news. She had been far away then, in France, taking care of their dying mother. By the time Celestine returned to England, Clara was buried. The funeral was over, and the man Clara had married, Lord Alistair Thornfield, had shut himself away in this manner with their daughter. Celestine had written letters, dozens of them. She asked to see the child, to help raise her, to honour Clara's memory. Every letter went unanswered. Until last month, a letter arrived from the girl herself. The handwriting was shaky, childish, but the words were desperate. "My aunt, please come. Father will not speak to me. The servants whisper. I am alone. I need you." The girl's name was Rosalind. She was 10 years old. Celestine had packed her bags that same day. Now she stood in the entrance hall of Thornfield Manor, waiting. Footsteps echoed from the staircase, heavy, slow. A man appeared in the shadows, Lord Alistair Thornfield. He was tall, broad-shouldered. His hair was dark with streaks of grey at the temples. His face was hard, sharp jaw, deep-set eyes. He wore all black, even his cravat was black. He stopped on the last step. His eyes locked onto Celestine's face. The colour drained from his skin. "No." His voice was a low growl. "This is not possible." Celestine lifted her chin. "I am Celestine, Clara's twin sister." Alistair's hands clenched into fists. "Leave. Now." "I will not. You have no right to be here." "I have every right," Celestine's voice rose. "That little girl upstairs is my blood, my sister's daughter. I have come to see her." Alistair descended the final step. He moved toward her. His presence was like a storm, dark, dangerous. He stopped inches away. His eyes burned into hers. "You look exactly like her." His voice was barely a whisper. "Exactly." Celestine did not flinch. "We were identical twins." "It is cruel." His jaw worked. "Cruel that you would come here wearing her face." "I did not choose my face, Lord Thornfield, but I choose to be here now. For Rosalind." At the sound of the child's name, something shifted in Alistair's expression. Pain flickered across his features. He stepped back. His shoulders sagged. Rosalind. He breathed the name like a prayer or a curse. "She wrote to me," Celestine said quietly. She asked me to come. Alistair's head snapped up. She what? Your daughter is lonely. She is suffering. You know nothing about my daughter. I know she needs love, care, someone who will not hide from her. Alistair's face darkened. Rage flashed in his eyes. How dare you? I dare because Clara would want me to. Celestine's voice was steel. My sister loved you. She gave her life for your child. And you repay her by locking that little girl away in this tomb? Alistair's hand shot out. For a moment, Celestine thought he might strike her, but his fingers stopped just before her shoulder. Trembling, his breath came fast and hard. You will never speak of Clara to me. His voice was low, deadly. Never. Then let me speak to Rosalind. No. Why? Because... Alistair's voice broke. He turned away sharply. His hand covered his face. Because she has her mother's eyes, and I cannot bear to look at them. Celestine's heart clenched. She saw it now. The truth. This man was not cruel. He was broken. But she did not soften. You are her father, Celestine said. You do not have the luxury of grief, not when a child depends on you. Alistair's shoulders shook. He said nothing. Celestine picked up her case. I will stay in the village inn, but I will return every day, and I will see Rosalind, whether you allow it or not. She turned toward the door. Wait! Celestine stopped. Alistair's voice was rough, worn. Stay, one night. Meet her tomorrow, then decide. Decide what? Whether you truly wish to enter this house, this prison. Celestine looked back at him. His face was shadowed, his eyes were hollow. He looked like a man who had died years ago but kept walking. I have already decided, Celestine said softly. I am not leaving without her. The room they gave Celestine was at the end of the east wing. It was cold. The fireplace was unlit. A single candle burned on the bedside table. Celestine set down her case. She walked to the window. Outside, the moon hung low over the grounds. Gardens stretched into darkness. Everything looked wild, overgrown. She pressed her hand to the glass. Clara, she whispered. I am here. I will take care of her. I promise. A soft knock came at the door. Celestine turned. Come in. The door opened slowly. A young maid stepped inside. She carried a tray with tea. Her hands shook. The cups rattled. Miss, I brought you something warm. Thank you. The maid set the tray on the small table. She did not look at Celestine's face. Her eyes stayed on the floor. What is your name? Celestine asked gently. Mary, miss. How long have you worked here, Mary? 5 years, miss. Do you see Rosalind often? Mary's hands twisted in her apron. Not often, miss. She stays in the nursery. The governess brings her meals. The governess? Mrs. Grimes. She is... strict. Celestine's stomach tightened. Strict how? Mary's lips pressed together. She glanced at the door. I should not say, miss. Please, I need to know. Mary hesitated. Then she leaned closer. Her voice dropped to a whisper. The girl is not allowed to play, not allowed to laugh. Mrs. Grimes says she must be silent, always, because laughter disturbs the master. Celestine's hands curled into fists. Where is the nursery? Top floor, north wing. Thank you, Mary. The maid nodded quickly. She hurried out of the room. Celestine waited until the house grew silent. Then she took her candle. She slipped into the hallway. The stairs creaked under her feet. She moved like a shadow, up one flight, then another. The air grew colder. At the top of the 3rd floor, a long corridor stretched before her. Celestine walked to the end. A door stood closed. No light came from beneath it. She knocked softly. No answer. She tried the handle. It turned. The door opened. Inside, the room was small. A narrow bed stood against the wall. A wooden chair sat by the window, and in the bed, a small figure lay curled beneath the blankets. Celestine stepped inside. She set the candle on the chair. She knelt beside the bed. "Rosalind?" Her voice was soft. The child did not move. Celestine reached out. She touched the blanket gently. "Rosalind, I am your Aunt Celestine. I received your letter." The blanket shifted. Slowly, a small face emerged. Celestine's breath caught. The child had Clara's eyes, dark and deep, but they were filled with sadness. Her face was thin, too thin. Her hair was tangled. "Are you really my aunt?" The girl's voice was barely a whisper. "Yes. You look like the painting." "The painting?" "In the library, the one of my mother." Rosalind's eyes filled with tears. "Father says I must never go in there, but I sneak in sometimes, to see her face." Celestine's heart broke. She reached out. She stroked the child's hair. "You look like her too." "Father says I do. That is why he will not look at me." "Oh, sweetheart," Celestine's voice cracked. "That is not your fault. Mrs. Grimes says I killed her. She says I am wicked." Rage flared in Celestine's chest. "No, you are not wicked. You are a gift. Your mother wanted you. She loved you." "How do you know?" "Because Clara was my sister, my twin. We shared everything, even our thoughts, and I know she would have loved you more than life itself." Rosalind sat up slowly. Her thin arms wrapped around Celestine's neck. She began to cry, soft, broken sobs. Celestine held her. She rocked her gently. "I am here now. I will not leave you." "Promise?" "I promise." The door suddenly banged open. A tall, sharp-faced woman stood in the doorway. Her eyes were cold. Her mouth was a tight line. "What are you doing in here?" Mrs. Grimes' voice was like ice. Celestine stood. She kept Rosalind behind her. "I am the child's aunt." "You have no authority here." "I have the authority of blood. Lord Thornfield will hear of this." "Good. Let him hear." Mrs. Grimes' face turned red. She stepped forward. Her hand shot out to grab Rosalind's arm. Celestine moved faster. She caught the woman's wrist. Her grip was iron. "Do not touch her." Mrs. Grimes gasped. She tried to pull away. Celestine held firm. "If you ever lay a hand on this child again," Celestine said quietly, "I will make certain you never work in another household in England." She released the woman's wrist. Mrs. Grimes stumbled back. Her eyes were wide. Then her face twisted with fury. "You will regret this." She turned and stormed out. Celestine turned back to Rosalind. The girl was trembling. "It is all right," Celestine said. "She cannot hurt you now." "She will tell father." "Let her." Celestine pulled the blanket around Rosalind's shoulders. "I want you to sleep now. Tomorrow things will be different." "How?" "Because I am here, and I will fight for you." Rosalind's eyes searched Celestine's face. Then she nodded. She lay back down. Celestine smoothed the blanket. She pressed a kiss to the girl's forehead. Then she took her candle and left the room. But she did not go back to her own chamber. She went downstairs, to the library. The library door was locked. Celestine stood in the dark hallway. She tried the handle again. It did not move. She heard footsteps behind her. "Looking for something?" She turned. Alistair stood in the shadows. His shirt was untucked. His hair was disheveled. He held a glass of whiskey in his hand. "I wanted to see the painting," Celestine said. No. Why not? Because it is mine. It is Clara's, and Rosalind's, and mine. Alistair drained his glass. He set it on a side table. Then he walked past her. He pulled a key from his pocket. He unlocked the door. Come then. His voice was bitter. See what you came for. He pushed the door open. He walked inside. Celestine followed. The library was large. Shelves lined every wall. Books rose to the ceiling. In the center of the room stood a portrait. Clara. She sat in a garden. Sunlight fell on her face. She wore a white dress. Her smile was soft. Her eyes sparkled with life. Celestine's breath left her lungs. It was like looking into a mirror, but not quite. Clara's face was softer, happier. She looked like someone who had known love. Celestine had never had that look. She was beautiful, Celestine whispered. She was everything. Alistair's voice was rough. He stood beside her. His eyes were locked on the painting. I worshipped her. I would have given her the world. She did not want the world. She wanted you, and a child. And it killed her. No, childbirth killed her. That is not the same. Alistair's jaw clenched. She screamed for hours. I stood outside the door. I heard every sound, every cry, and I could do nothing. Celestine's throat tightened. I am sorry. Are you? He turned to her. His eyes were red. Because you stand here with her face, her voice, and it is like she has come back to haunt me. I am not Clara. I know, his voice broke, and that makes it worse. Celestine reached out. She placed her hand on his arm. Alistair, he jerked away. Do not touch me. You cannot live like this forever. I do not wish to live at all. His voice was hollow. I wish I had died with her. But you did not, and you have a daughter who needs you. She is better off without me. No, she is dying without you. Alistair's eyes widened. What? That child is starving for love, for kindness, for a father who will look at her, and instead you lock her away with a cruel woman who tells her she is wicked. Alistair's face went white. Mrs. Grimes said that? Yes. I will dismiss her. It is not enough. Then what do you want from me? Alistair's voice rose. His hands shook. What more can I give? Your presence. Your heart. I have no heart left. Then find one. Celestine stepped closer. Her eyes burned into his. Because if you do not, I will take Rosalind away from here. I will raise her myself, and you will never see her again. Alistair staggered back. His hand gripped the edge of a chair. You cannot do that. Watch me. I am her father. Then act like one. Silence fell between them. The only sound was the crackling of the fire in the hearth. Alistair's chest heaved. His eyes were wild, lost. I do not know how, he whispered. I do not know how to be near her, to look at her. Every time I see her face, I see Clara dying. Celestine's anger softened. She saw the truth now. This man was not a monster. He was a man drowning in grief. Then let me help you, she said quietly. Alistair looked at her. His eyes were desperate. How? Stay. Be in the same room. Let me care for Rosalind. Watch. Learn. And when you are ready, you can try. And if I am never ready, then I will take her, and you will have lost both of them. Alistair closed his eyes. A tear slipped down his cheek. I loved her, he whispered. I loved Clara more than anything. I know. And I love Rosalind. God help me, I do. But I am so afraid. Afraid of what? Of failing her, of losing her too. Celestine's voice was soft. You cannot protect her from life by hiding. You can only teach her to be strong. and you cannot do that from a distance. Alistair opened his eyes. He looked at the painting of Clara. Then he looked at Celestine. "You are just like her," he said. "Stubborn, fierce. She was my sister, my other half. She spoke of you, often. She wanted you here, to help raise Rosalind. Then let me." Alistair nodded slowly. "All right." Celestine exhaled. Relief flooded through her. "Thank you. But on one condition." "What?" "You must be patient with me. I am broken. I know. And I may never be whole again." "That is all right." Celestine's voice was gentle. "Rosalind does not need perfection. She needs love." Alistair looked at her for a long moment. Then he turned and walked out of the library. Celestine stood alone. She looked at Clara's portrait. "I will keep my promise," she whispered. "I will save them both." But she did not know how hard that promise would be to keep. The next morning, Celestine woke early. She dressed in a simple grey gown. She braided her hair. Then she went to the nursery. Rosalind was already awake. She sat by the window. Her knees were pulled to her chest. She stared out at the gardens. "Good morning," Celestine said softly. Rosalind turned. Her face brightened. "You came back." "Of course. I told you I would." "I thought it was a dream." Celestine sat beside her. "It was not a dream. I am here." Rosalind's eyes filled with tears. "Mrs. Grimes is very angry. She said you are a wicked woman." "Mrs. Grimes is wrong. She said I must never speak to you again." Celestine's jaw tightened. "Where is Mrs. Grimes now?" "In her room. She said she is packing her things." "Good." Rosalind's eyes widened. "You made her leave?" "Your father made her leave." "Father spoke to her?" "Yes." Rosalind's mouth opened. She looked stunned. "Father never speaks to anyone. He spoke last night, and he dismissed Mrs. Grimes." "Because of me?" "Because he loves you." Rosalind's face crumpled. She began to cry. Celestine pulled her close. She held her as the child sobbed. "It is all right," Celestine whispered. "Let it out." "I thought he hated me." "No, sweetheart. He does not hate you. He is just very sad." "Because of my mother?" "Yes." "I wish I could have known her." "You do know her. You have her eyes, her spirit, and I will tell you everything about her." Rosalind looked up. "Will you?" "Every day." A small smile touched the girl's lips. It was the first time Celestine had seen her smile. "Come," Celestine said. "Let us go downstairs. I want to see the gardens." "Mrs. Grimes said I am not allowed outside." "Mrs. Grimes is gone, and I say you are allowed." Rosalind's eyes sparkled. "Truly?" "Truly." They went downstairs together. Celestine held Rosalind's hand. The child's fingers were small and cold, but as they stepped outside into the sunlight, warmth began to return. The gardens were wild. Roses climbed over broken trellises. Ivy covered stone benches. But beneath the neglect, Celestine could see beauty. "This is where my mother sat," Rosalind said quietly. She pointed to a stone bench near a fountain. "I saw it in the painting." "Then let us sit there." They sat together. Celestine told Rosalind stories about Clara, about their childhood, about how they used to switch places to trick their tutors, about how Clara loved to paint, to sing, to dance in the rain. Rosalind listened with wide eyes. She laughed at some stories. She cried at others. And from a window on the second floor, Alistair watched. Days passed. Celestine stayed at Thornfield Manor. She spent every waking moment with Rosalind. They walked in the gardens. They read books in the library. Celestine taught Rosalind to paint, to sing simple songs. The child began to change. Her cheeks grew rosy. Her laughter returned. She was no longer a shadow. She was becoming a little girl again. But Alistair remained distant. He watched from doorways, from windows. He never came close. He never spoke. Until one afternoon. Celestine and Rosalind were in the music room. Celestine sat at the piano. She played a simple melody. Rosalind stood beside her. She tried to follow along. "No, sweetheart, this finger here." Celestine guided the child's hand. Rosalind giggled. "I am terrible at this." "You are learning. That is different." The door creaked open. Both of them turned. Alistair stood in the doorway. He looked awkward, uncertain. Rosalind's smile faded. She stiffened. Celestine stood. "Good afternoon, Lord Thornfield." Alistair cleared his throat. "I heard music. I thought—" He trailed off. His eyes flicked to Rosalind, then away. "Would you like to join us?" Celestine asked gently. "I do not wish to intrude." "You are not intruding. This is your home." Alistair hesitated. Then he stepped inside. He stood near the wall. His hands were clasped behind his back. Celestine sat back down at the piano. "Rosalind, shall we continue?" The girl nodded, but her movements were stiff now, nervous. Celestine played a few notes. Rosalind tried to follow. Her fingers stumbled. "It is all right," Celestine said softly. "Try again." Rosalind bit her lip. She tried once more. This time, she got it right. "Wonderful," Celestine smiled. A soft sound came from the corner. Alistair had made a noise, almost like a laugh, but it caught in his throat. Celestine looked at him. His eyes were on Rosalind. For the first time, he was truly seeing her. "She is talented," Celestine said quietly. "She is." Alistair's voice was rough. Rosalind's head turned. She looked at her father. Her eyes were wide, hopeful. "Father?" Her voice was small. Alistair's throat worked. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. Celestine saw the panic in his eyes. He was retreating again. "Rosalind," Celestine said quickly, "why don't you play the melody for your father?" The girl's attention shifted back to the piano. She placed her fingers on the keys. She played the simple tune. She made mistakes, but she kept going. When she finished, she looked at Alistair again. "Did you like it?" Alistair's jaw clenched. He nodded once. "It is not very good yet," Rosalind said, "but Aunt Celestine says I will improve." "I am sure you will." His voice was barely audible. Rosalind's face lit up. It was the first time her father had spoken directly to her in years. Celestine saw tears in the child's eyes, and in Alistair's. "Rosalind," Celestine said gently, "why don't you go to the kitchen? Cook promised to show you how to make biscuits." "Now?" "Yes, I will come find you in a little while." Rosalind hesitated. She looked at her father once more. Then she nodded. She slipped out of the room. The door closed softly. Alistair's shoulders sagged. He leaned against the wall. His hand covered his face. Celestine stood. She walked to him. "You did well." I said 3 words. "That is more than you have said in 10 years. It is not enough. It is a start." Alistair lowered his hand. His eyes were red. "I cannot do this." "Yes, you can. You do not understand. Every time I look at her, I see Clara dying. I hear her screams. I feel the moment my world ended." "Then you must make new memories." Celestine's voice was firm. "Memories that are not about death. Memories about life." "I do not know how." "I will teach you." Alistair looked at her. His eyes searched her face. "Why are you doing this?" Because Clara would have wanted me to. Is that the only reason? Celestine paused. She had asked herself that question many times over the past week. At first, she had come for Rosalind, for her sister's memory. But now? Now she saw a man who was broken, a man who needed saving just as much as his daughter did. And something inside her wanted to save him. No, she said quietly. It is not the only reason. Then what is the other reason? Because I believe you can be whole again, and I want to see it. Alistair's breath caught. He stared at her. Something flickered in his eyes, something Celestine could not name. You are dangerous, he whispered. Why? Because you make me feel hope, and hope is the cruelest thing of all. Before Celestine could respond, he turned and walked out of the room. She stood alone in the music room. Her heart pounded, her hands trembled. Something had shifted, and she did not know if it was good or bad. Over the following weeks, Alistair began to appear more often. He joined them for tea. He walked with them in the gardens. He sat in the library while Celestine read to Rosalind. He still did not speak much, but he was present. And Rosalind blossomed. She chattered to her father about her day. She showed him her paintings. She asked him questions. And slowly, carefully, he began to answer. But Celestine noticed something else. Alistair watched her. When she laughed with Rosalind, his eyes followed her. When she played the piano, he stood in the doorway. When she walked through the halls, she felt his gaze on her back. It made her uneasy, and it made her heart race. One evening, after Rosalind had gone to bed, Celestine sat in the library. She read a book by the fire. The house was quiet. The door opened. Alistair stepped inside. He held a glass of brandy. He closed the door behind him. "May I join you?" he asked. "Of course." He sat in the chair across from her. The fire crackled between them. For a long moment, neither spoke. "You have changed this house," Alistair said finally. "I have only brought light back into it." "No, you have brought more than light." Celestine set down her book. "What do you mean?" "You have brought life, warmth. Rosalind laughs now, she sings, she is happy. She is happy because her father is here. She is happy because you are here." Celestine's chest tightened. "I am glad I came." "So am I." Alistair's voice was soft. He looked into the fire. "I did not want you here at first. I thought you would destroy me. And now? Now I think you might save me." Celestine's breath caught. "Alistair, I know it is wrong." He turned to her. His eyes were dark, intense. "I know I should not feel this way. You are Clara's sister. You should be nothing more to me than that." "Then what do you feel?" "I feel alive." His voice was raw. "For the first time in 10 years, I feel something other than pain, and it terrifies me." Celestine's hands gripped the arms of her chair. "What are you saying?" "I am saying that when I look at you, I do not see Clara anymore. I see you, Celestine, a woman who is fierce and strong and brave, a woman who fought for my daughter when I could not." "Alistair, stop." "I cannot." He stood. He moved closer. He knelt in front of her chair. His hands rested on the armrests. His face was inches from hers. "Tell me you do not feel it too." Celestine's heart pounded. She could not breathe. "This is wrong." "I know. I came here for Rosalind." "I know. You loved my sister." "I did." His eyes burned into hers. "But she is gone. And you are here. And I do not know how to stop this." Celestine's hands shook. She wanted to push him away. She wanted to run. But she could not move. Because part of her felt it too. The pull, the heat, the dangerous closeness. "We cannot do this," she whispered. Then tell me to leave. His voice was hoarse. Tell me to walk away, and I will. Celestine opened her mouth, but no words came out. Alistair's gaze dropped to her lips. His hand lifted. His fingers brushed her cheek. And then the door slammed open. Both of them jumped. Rosalind stood in the doorway. Her face was pale. Her eyes were wide. "What are you doing?" Her voice was small, frightened. Alistair shot to his feet. "Rosalind, You were touching her!" The girl's voice rose. "You were touching Aunt Celestine like the way you touched Mother in the painting." "No, sweetheart, it is not. Are you going to forget Mother?" Tears streamed down Rosalind's face. "Are you going to love Aunt Celestine instead?" Celestine stood. She moved toward the girl. "Rosalind, please listen." "No!" Rosalind backed away. "You said you came here for me, but you came here for him." She turned and ran. Celestine started after her, but Alistair caught her arm. "Let me," he said. "She is upset. She is my daughter. I will speak to her." Celestine nodded. Alistair released her arm. He hurried out of the room. Celestine sank back into the chair. Her hands covered her face. What had she done? Alistair found Rosalind in her room. She sat on her bed. Her knees were pulled to her chest. She sobbed into her hands. He stood in the doorway. His heart broke. "Rosalind," he said softly. "Go away." "I cannot." "You love her more than me." "No." Alistair stepped inside. He sat on the edge of her bed. "That is not true." "I saw you. You looked at her the way you looked at Mother." Alistair's throat tightened. "I did, and I am sorry you saw that." "So it is true. You are going to forget Mother." "I will never forget your mother." Alistair's voice was firm. "I loved her with all my heart. She gave me you, and that is the greatest gift I have ever received." Rosalind looked up. Her face was red and blotchy. "Then why do you love Aunt Celestine?" "I do not know if I love her. I only know that she makes me feel something I thought I would never feel again." "What?" "Hope." Rosalind's lip trembled. "Does that mean I am not enough?" "Oh, sweetheart." Alistair pulled her into his arms. "You are everything. You are the reason I am still alive, and I am so sorry I have made you feel otherwise." Rosalind cried into his chest. "I thought you hated me." "I could never hate you. I was just lost, and I did not know how to find my way back." "Did Aunt Celestine help you?" "Yes, she did." Rosalind pulled back. She looked at her father. "Do you think Mother would be angry?" "About what?" "About you feeling something for Aunt Celestine." Alistair's breath left him. He thought about Clara, about her smile, her kindness, her love. "No," he said quietly. "I think your mother would be happy. She loved Celestine. She would want us to be cared for, to be happy." "Even if it means you love someone else?" "I do not know if it is love, but even if it is, yes, I think she would understand." Rosalind wiped her eyes. "I like Aunt Celestine." "I know." "I do not want her to leave." "Neither do I." "Then will you tell her to stay?" Alistair smiled sadly. "I do not know if she will." Celestine sat in the library. She stared at the fire. Her mind raced. She had crossed a line. She had allowed herself to feel something for Alistair, something that should not exist. He was her sister's husband, the father of her niece, nothing more. But her heart did not listen to reason. The door opened. Alistair stepped inside. He looked exhausted, but his eyes were clear. "How is she?" Celestine asked. She is asleep. We talked. Good. Alistair sat across from her. He leaned forward, his hands clasped between his knees. I owe you an apology. No, I am the one who should apologize. I should have stopped it before. Before what? Alistair's eyes met hers. Before I told you the truth? Before I admitted that I feel something for you? It is wrong. Perhaps, but it is also real. Celestine stood. She paced the room. I came here for Rosalind, not for this. I know, and if you want to leave, I will not stop you. Celestine stopped. She turned to him. Is that what you want? No. His voice was raw. I want you to stay, but I will not force you. Rosalind needs me. She does, but that is not the only reason I want you to stay. Celestine's chest tightened. What is the other reason? Alistair stood. He walked to her. He stopped inches away. Because I need you too. You loved Clara. I did, and I always will. But she is gone, and you are here, and I cannot pretend that I do not feel this. What do you feel? I feel alive when you are near. I feel hope when you smile. I feel whole when I see you with Rosalind. His hand lifted. He cupped her cheek. I feel like I can breathe again. Celestine's eyes filled with tears. This is not fair. I know. Clara should be here, not me. But she is not, and you are. And I think she would want us to live, to be happy. How can you be sure? Because she loved you. She told me once that if anything ever happened to her, she wanted you to take care of us. She wanted you to be part of Rosalind's life. Celestine's breath hitched. She said that? Yes, and I think she would understand this too. Celestine closed her eyes. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I am scared. So am I. What if this destroys everything? What if it saves us? Celestine opened her eyes. She looked at him. His face was open, vulnerable. He was giving her his heart, his broken, fragile heart, and she realized she wanted it. I do not know how to do this, she whispered. Neither do I, but we can learn, together. Celestine's hand lifted. She touched his face. I did not come here expecting to feel this. I know. I only wanted to help Rosalind. You did. You saved her. And you saved me. Celestine's fingers trembled against his skin. What happens now? We take it one day at a time. We be honest. We be careful. And we see where this goes. And Rosalind? We tell her the truth. That we care about each other. That it does not mean we love Clara any less. And that she is the most important person in both our lives. Celestine nodded slowly. All right. Alistair's thumb brushed her cheek. All right? Yes. He smiled. It was the first real smile she had seen on his face. Thank you. For what? For coming here. For fighting for us. For giving me a reason to live again. Celestine's tears fell faster, but she smiled through them. You are welcome. Alistair leaned forward. His forehead touched hers. They stood there in the firelight, two broken people finding each other in the darkness. And for the first time in 10 years, the house felt like a home. But happiness is a fragile thing. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived. Celestine found it on the breakfast table. It was addressed to her. The handwriting was unfamiliar. She broke the seal. She read the words. Her blood ran cold. What is it? Alistair asked. He sat across from her. Rosalind was beside him. They were eating toast and jam. Celestine folded the letter quickly. Nothing. Just a note from an old friend. But her hands shook. Alistair frowned. You look pale. I am fine. Celestine, I said I am fine. Her voice was sharper than she intended. Rosalind looked up. Her eyes were wide. Celestine forced a smile. I am sorry, sweetheart. I am just tired. But she was not tired. She was terrified. The letter was from a man named Lord Grayson. He had been Clara's suitor before she married Alistair. He had been bitter when Clara chose Alistair. He had spread rumors. He had tried to ruin Clara's reputation. Clara had told Celestine about him in her letters. She had been afraid of him. And now, he had written to Celestine. The letter said, I know who you are. I know you are pretending to be Clara. You think you can take her place, but you cannot. I will expose you. I will tell everyone that you are a fraud, unless you leave Thornfield Manor immediately. Celestine's heart pounded. The letter was absurd. She was not pretending to be Clara. She had made it clear from the beginning that she was Clara's twin. But Lord Grayson did not care about the truth. He wanted revenge, and he would twist the story to hurt Alistair. Celestine stood. I need some air. I will come with you, Alistair said. No, I need to be alone. She left the room before he could respond. Outside, the gardens were bright with morning sun, but Celestine felt cold. She walked to the stone bench by the fountain. She sat down. She read the letter again. You look troubled. Celestine gasped. She turned. A man stood behind her. He was tall, thin. His face was sharp. His eyes were cold. Lord Grayson, Celestine said. You know who I am. Good. That saves time. What do you want? I want you to leave. This is not your concern. It is entirely my concern. Grayson stepped closer. Clara was mine before Thornfield stole her. And now you come here wearing her face, playing her role. It is an insult. I am not playing any role. I am her sister. You expect me to believe that? It is the truth. The truth is that you are a schemer. You saw an opportunity, a wealthy widower, a lonely child, and you stepped in to take Clara's place. Celestine stood, her fists clenched. You know nothing about me. I know enough, and I will tell everyone what you are doing. I will ruin Thornfield's name, and yours. Why? What do you gain from this? Grayson's smile was cruel. Revenge. Thornfield took Clara from me. Now I will take everything from him. You are mad. Perhaps, but I am also powerful, and I will destroy you if you do not leave. Before Celestine could respond, a voice rang out. Get away from her. Alistair strode across the garden. His face was dark with rage. He stepped between Celestine and Grayson. You are trespassing, Alistair said. I am merely visiting an old friend. You are no friend of this family. Clara was my friend, before you poisoned her mind. Alistair's fist flew forward. It connected with Grayson's jaw. The man staggered back. He fell to the ground. Leave my property, Alistair said. His voice was deadly calm. If you ever come near my family again, I will have you arrested. Grayson wiped blood from his lip. He stood slowly. This is not over. Yes, it is. Grayson shot Celestine one last look. Then he turned and walked away. Alistair turned to Celestine. Are you all right? Yes. What did he say to you? Celestine hesitated. Then she handed him the letter. Alistair read it. His face darkened. He thinks you are pretending to be Clara. Yes. That is absurd. I know, but he does not care about the truth. He wants to hurt you. Alistair's jaw clenched. He cannot. We have done nothing wrong. But people will believe him. They will say I am a fraud. They will say you have been deceived. then we will prove them wrong. How? By living our truth, by being together, by showing the world that we have nothing to hide. Celestine's throat tightened. I do not want to bring scandal to your family. You are part of this family now. Alistair took her hands, and I will not let Grayson destroy that. Celestine looked into his eyes. She saw determination, strength, love. All right, she whispered. But deep down, she was afraid. Lord Grayson did not stay silent. Within days, rumours spread through the village, through the county, through London. People whispered that Celestine was an impostor, that she had tricked Lord Thornfield, that she was after his fortune. Letters arrived at Thornfield Manor. Some were curious, some were cruel. All of them asked the same question. Was Celestine truly Clara's sister, or was she a con artist? Alistair burned the letters, but Celestine knew the damage was done. One afternoon she found Rosalind crying in her room. "What is wrong, sweetheart?" Celestine asked. "The cook's daughter said you are a liar." Rosalind's voice was choked with sobs. "She said you are pretending to be my mother." Celestine's heart shattered. She pulled the girl into her arms. "That is not true. I would never pretend to be your mother. I am your aunt. I am Clara's twin sister." "But why do people say it?" "Because there is a man who wants to hurt your father, and he is spreading lies." "Can we stop him?" "We are trying." "I do not want you to leave." "I am not going anywhere." But even as she said the words, Celestine wondered if they were true. That evening, she spoke to Alistair in the library. "I think I should go," she said. Alistair's head snapped up. "What?" "The rumours are destroying your reputation. Rosalind is being hurt. This will not stop unless I leave." "No." Alistair stood. He crossed the room. He gripped her shoulders. "I will not let you go." "Alistair, please." "No. We have done nothing wrong. We will not let Grayson win." "But how do we stop him?" "We prove the truth." "How?" Alistair's eyes burned into hers. "We show everyone that you are Clara's sister, that you are here for Rosalind, and that you are not hiding anything." "But people will not believe us." "Then we make them believe." "How?" Alistair paused. Then he said quietly, "We marry." Celestine's breath left her lungs. "What?" "Marry me, Celestine. Show the world that this is not a scandal, that this is a family, that you are meant to be here." "Alistair, I cannot." "Why not?" "Because people will say I am replacing Clara. They will say you have forgotten her." "I do not care what people say. I care about you, and Rosalind, and us." Celestine's eyes filled with tears. "This is too fast." "Then we wait. But promise me you will not leave." Celestine looked at him. His face was desperate, pleading. She wanted to say yes, she wanted to stay, but fear gripped her heart. "I need time to think," she whispered. Alistair nodded. He released her shoulders. "Take all the time you need, but know this. I love you, and I will fight for you." Celestine's tears fell. "You love me?" "Yes." "How can you be sure?" "Because I wake up every day thinking of you. Because I see you with Rosalind and my heart feels whole. Because when you smile, the darkness lifts. And because I cannot imagine a future without you." Celestine covered her mouth. A sob escaped. Alistair stepped closer. He wiped her tears. "I know it is complicated. I know it is messy. But love is messy, and I am done pretending I do not feel it." "I love you too," Celestine whispered. "God help me, I do." Alistair's face broke into a smile. He pulled her into his arms. He held her tightly. "Then stay," he murmured into her hair. "Please stay." I will try. That is all I ask. But the storm was not over yet. The next day, a visitor arrived, an old woman. She wore a tattered cloak, her face was lined with age. She asked to speak to Celestine. Celestine met her in the drawing room. "Who are you?" The woman sat down slowly. "My name is Mrs. Harrow. I was Clara's midwife." Celestine's pulse quickened. "Why are you here?" "Because I heard the rumours. About you, about Lord Grayson's accusations, and I know the truth." "What truth?" Mrs. Harrow reached into her cloak. She pulled out a letter. "Lady Clara gave me this before she died. She made me promise to keep it safe, to give it to you if you ever came here." Celestine's hands shook as she took the letter. The handwriting was Clara's. She broke the seal. She read, "My dearest Celestine, if you are reading this, then I am gone, and you have come to care for my daughter. I knew you would. You always had the strongest heart. I want you to know that I am not afraid of death. I am afraid of leaving Rosalind alone. Alistair is a good man, but I fear he will drown in grief. He loves so deeply, and when that love is lost, he does not know how to survive. That is why I am asking you to do something for me, something that may seem impossible. Love him. Not immediately, not out of duty, but when the time is right, when he is ready. Help him live again. Help him find joy. Help him be the father Rosalind needs. I know people will judge you. They will say you are replacing me. But you could never replace me, Celestine. You are my other half. And if you love him, it is because I loved him first. We are connected, always. Do not be afraid. Do not let the world make you feel guilty. I give you my blessing. I want you to be happy. I want Alistair to be happy. I want Rosalind to grow up in a house filled with love. So please, take care of them. And if love grows, do not push it away. You have my heart, dear sister, and my gratitude. Yours always, Clara." Celestine's tears fell onto the paper. Her hands trembled. She read the letter again, and again. Clara had known. She had foreseen this, and she had given her blessing. "She was a wise woman," Mrs. Harrow said softly. "She knew her husband. She knew you, and she knew that love does not die. It changes. It grows." Celestine looked up. "Why did you wait so long to give me this?" "Because she told me to wait. She said you would come when the time was right, and you would need this letter when the world tried to tear you down." Celestine's chest ached. "Thank you." Mrs. Harrow stood. "Do not let them take this from you. Clara wanted you to be happy. Honor that." The old woman left. Celestine sat alone. She held the letter to her chest. She closed her eyes. "Thank you, Clara," she whispered. "Thank you." Celestine showed the letter to Alistair. He read it. His eyes filled with tears. He looked at Celestine. She knew. Yes. She wanted this. Yes. Alistair folded the letter carefully. "Then we will not hide any more." "What do you mean?" "We will go to the village. We will show them this letter. We will tell them the truth. And we will let Clara's words speak for themselves." Celestine nodded. "All right." The next day, they went to the village square. A crowd gathered. Lord Grayson was there. His face was smug. Alistair stood on the steps of the church. Celestine stood beside him. Rosalind held her hand. "I know there have been rumours," Alistair said. His voice carried across the square. "Rumours that Miss Celestine is an impostor, that she is here to deceive me, to steal my fortune, to replace my late wife." The crowd murmured. "But I am here to tell you the truth." Alistair held up the letter. "This is a letter from Lady Clara, written before she died, given to her midwife, and delivered to Miss Celestine." He read the letter aloud. Every word, every line. The crowd fell silent. When he finished, tears streamed down many faces. Even the hardest hearts were moved. Grayson's face was pale. "That letter could be a forgery." "It is not." Mrs. Harrow stepped forward. "I witnessed Lady Clara write it. I held it for 10 years, and I delivered it myself." Grayson sputtered. "But—" "Enough." Alistair's voice was sharp. "You have slandered my family. You have hurt my daughter, and you have dishonored Clara's memory. Leave, and do not return." The crowd turned to Grayson. Their faces were hard, disapproving. Grayson looked around. He saw no allies, only anger. He turned and fled. The crowd erupted in applause. Alistair looked down at Celestine. He smiled. She smiled back. Rosalind tugged on Celestine's hand. "Does this mean you can stay forever?" Celestine knelt. She hugged the girl tightly. "Yes, sweetheart, forever." 3 months later, Celestine and Alistair were married. It was a small ceremony, just family and close friends. Rosalind stood between them. She held both their hands. When the vicar pronounced them husband and wife, Rosalind cheered. The small crowd laughed. Alistair kissed Celestine. It was soft, tender, full of promise. "I love you," he whispered. "I love you too." They returned to Thornfield Manor, but it was no longer a tomb. It was a home. The curtains were open. Sunlight filled the rooms. Laughter echoed through the halls. Celestine painted with Rosalind. Alistair taught her to ride horses. They had picnics in the garden. They read books by the fire. And every night before Rosalind went to bed, Celestine told her stories about Clara, about her kindness, her laughter, her love. "I wish I could have met her," Rosalind said one night. "You carry her inside you," Celestine said. "In your eyes, your smile, your heart. She is always with you." Rosalind smiled. "I am glad you came, Aunt Celestine." "So am I." "Are you happy?" "Very happy." "Good, because I love you." Celestine's eyes filled with tears. "I love you too, sweetheart." She kissed Rosalind's forehead. She turned out the light. She left the room. Alistair was waiting in the hallway. He took her hand. "She is asleep?" he asked. "Yes." "Good." He led her to their bedroom. He closed the door. He pulled her into his arms. "Thank you," he said. "For what?" "For saving us, for loving us, for giving me a reason to live." Celestine smiled. "You gave me a reason too." They stood together in the moonlight, two broken souls made whole. And somewhere, Celestine felt Clara's presence, her blessing, her love. "Thank you, sister," Celestine whispered into the night. "Thank you for trusting me with your family." The wind rustled the curtains. A soft breeze swept through the room, and Celestine smiled. Rosalind was 20 years old. She was beautiful, strong, kind. She had her mother's eyes and her father's strength. She stood in the garden. Beside her was a young man. He held her hand. He looked at her with adoration. "Father will approve," Rosalind said. "Are you sure?" The young man looked nervous. "I am sure." They walked toward the house. Alistair and Celestine sat on the terrace. They sipped tea. They watched the sunset. "Father, Mother," Rosalind called. Celestine smiled. She had never corrected Rosalind when she started calling her mother. It felt right. "Yes, dear?" Alistair said. "I have someone I want you to meet." Rosalind introduced the young man. His name was Thomas. He was kind, respectful. He loved Rosalind with his whole heart. Alistair shook his hand. "Welcome to our family." Thomas's face lit up. "Thank you, sir." They all sat together. They talked, they laughed. And as the sun set over Thornfield Manor, Celestine looked at the people around her. Alistair, still strong, still loving, still hers. Rosalind, happy, whole, radiant, and she felt Clara's presence, watching, smiling. "We did it, sister," Celestine whispered. "We built a family. We found love. We healed." The stars began to appear, one by one, like blessings from above, and Celestine knew without a doubt that she was exactly where she was meant to be.